Hello, and welcome back to the It's In You podcast. Now, before we get started onto our topic today, I want to get it on the podcast so I can probably look back and remember. So over the weekend, my daughter scored her first goal in soccer. Now, this was just really, really exciting. She's 5 years old and she's obviously been watching her brother play soccer since he started, 4 or so years ago. But she's obviously now playing herself. And the best thing about this is she just runs. She just continually runs the whole time. So she does really, really well. So on Saturday morning, she said to me, this was the last game of the season. On Saturday, she said to me, Mum, I'm going to score a goal. When she said this to me, I kind of thought to myself, I don't know if you will, because she just never seems to get a clear run with the ball, and they're all at that age where they just all still follow the ball around. Anyway, so she said, I'm going to score a goal. And I said, yep. I said, you try your hardest. I said, all that matters is that you've tried. And she was like, yep, but and then the game came, and then she got this ball at this one point, and she got the ball and she ran and she just got in front of the goals and she got a goal. It was a clear goal. There was she dribbled the ball as far as she'd ever dribbled it. And we were all shouting and cheering. But the best thing from this, and this is what I said to her after, the best thing from was this, is I said, Charlie, I said, do you see what happened? I said, you believed that you could do it. I said, you said that morning that you were going to get a goal and you believed you did it, and you did it. I said, you can do anything you achieve when you believe in yourself and, you have that faith. It was so great. And I'm so, so proud of her. And she was so happy, but she takes it all in her stride. The thing is that I try all the time to use these things for teaching points. So I always say to my kids, see, you did this, and do you understand, and the thing is that's why I also think it's really, really important for you to look after yourself as a mum, to look after yourself so then you can have a clearer head to be stronger for them. And you don't realize how much they are watching you, how much they are, looking up to you and all the things you do. And so that's why it's just really, really good to make sure that you are always working on yourself and, looking after yourself and keeping your cup full so then you can be really good for your kids, because it radiates into their life. So that was our exciting weekend. But yeah, I was just very, very happy for her because she's just such a determined little girl, and she got a little goal. So that's great. Okay, so today I want to talk about a missing phase that I see in most weight loss plans that people have. It is something that generally is not talked about very much, but it is something that's so, so important for your goals, for your weight loss goals, and for your long-term results. And this is something that we go through and we talk a lot about in my program, Your Mind Over Muscle, because having a maintenance phase or having maintenance phases throughout your weight loss journey, you want to have it throughout, and you want to actually start to look at what does maintenance look like at the end. I see people that are doing, looking at, they're on this journey and they're reaching an 8-week goal or something else, but they don't, an 8-week, they might be doing an 8-week challenge or something like that, but they don't look at how maintenance should look. So then, or how it should look, or what what would be ideal for their lifestyle, or, to keep their body at the weight or the size that they want it to be. Because, people that are eating in a deficit, and we're eating in this calorie deficit in order to lose weight. But, if you're constantly in a deficit, your body is going to get used to that. You're not going to continue to lose weight. If you don't have a plan for what to do when you've achieved your goal, or when you've got to the weight you want to be at, then there's a problem in that too. So because, the biggest thing is, yes, it's hard to lose weight, but we also need to focus on making sure that we maintain our weight. Maintain the weight so that you don't put it back on and then you have to start all over again, and then this yo-yo cycle continues. So first of all, what is maintenance? So maintenance would be described as eating the calories that you need to that equivalent to the energy that you're expending. That would mean that you would be eating enough calories to not gain or lose weight. That's generally what maintenance phase is. Are you someone that feels like you've been working towards fat loss for what feels like forever, but then you feel like you still haven't achieved the results that you're wanting. And so you feel like you need to continue with this diet. So this is what I see. I see people on a diet and they're trying to lose weight, but they don't have an end goal. They have an end goal weight, but they don't have an end time to end their diet. So they just continually feel like they're on this diet. And this can be a real problem. It's a problem, firstly, because obviously while being on a diet, it doesn't have to be miserable, but it definitely can be uncomfortable. And, there are things that we are trying to reduce in order to achieve this goal. And, we can stick to a plan. Like some plans are more rigid than others. So you can stick to a plan and you can generally start to tolerate it for a few months. But when this plan center goes beyond a few months, the motivation and your dieting efforts seem to waver. And I generally find that people struggle anything after 12 weeks. So the other thing is that when you are continually dieting, not every season of the year allows for you to practice fantastic nutrition choices. It's going to be really hard to achieve results in a required time frame because of just different things that happen with life. So this is why, when you incorporate maintenance phases, you can take into account special occasions, take into account holidays, all of those things. So when we're looking at seasons of the year, summer tends to be a lot more social. So there might be more holidays. You might be have lots more events on. And obviously in Australia, summer is through our main school holiday period. It is when Christmas is, New Year's, and all of those things. So for us here, that time of year is a real kind of party season. So during our winter, people, it's obviously colder. You may be looking for more type of comfort food. You might feel like hibernating a little bit. When we're having these attempts of dieting and we're looking at it for doing over these long-term periods, they tend to not be as successful because your results tend to slow down, which again can work for some people, but when it's slowing down, people tend to get frustrated and then they give up and then they think it's not working and then they change. This is why I would really highly recommend to look at scheduling in some maintenance phases. I would recommend to be sticking to a diet no longer between 6 and 12 weeks, no longer than that. You then need to look at adding in a maintenance phase. So during that phase, you would need to then be eating your maintenance amount of calories. So you would then go into that phase. And again, it's optimal to do that for the same amount of time that you have been in a deficit. Remember, in order to lose weight, we need to be in a calorie deficit. So we need to eat less calories than what we're expelling. So then you've gone to your maintenance phase, and then again, you go back into your fat loss phase. When you're during this maintenance phase, you would be looking at to eat the amount of food that you need to maintain your current weight. It all depends on your weight, your activity, and those things, But the other thing I see a lot is because I come across so many people that tend to be under eating, they actually don't even, they've never even reached a maintenance phase. And a maintenance phase of eating is where we should look at living the whole time. So, and so many women that I come across, they're always under eating. And when we are eating the amount of calories that your body needs to eat, your body will thank you for it so much. And you'll have more energy. You'll be able to do more things. But lots of people I find that when they start eating more or eating as they should, they go, oh my God, I didn't realize I was feeling so flat, or I didn't realize I was just living off coffee, or, because that thing to remember as well, and we've spoke about this before in the podcast, is when your calories, we're trying to eat less calories because that's what we've been taught. We're eating these less calories. Well, then your body just starts to shut off things. It starts to shut off things that it doesn't need. So it shuts it off because it's trying to conserve its energy because you're eating so little. And, that's why it's really important to start to see what maintenance actually looks like. And when you eat in maintenance and then you go into a deficit, your body's then... it's learnt to trust you. It's actually, that's where you can actually, believe it or not, lose more weight. So chronic dieters, so people who have, been yo-yo dieters or been dieters for long term, they tend to be at risk of developing metabolic adaptation. So this is where your body naturally starts to adapt and compensating for a smaller weight size, and it's trying to cope with the long-term reduced calorie intake. So when you increase your calories periodically as you work towards weight loss, it can help your body recover, and it can make it more possible for you to continue to reach your goals than having to continually look at reducing your calorie intake. Because there gets a point, if you are, I'll get people come to me, they're like, or people say to me, I just had someone the other day saying to me, how am I not losing weight when I'm eating this little? And it's because your body is just trying to survive on the small amount of calories that you're eating. So everything it's getting, it is storing. It is shut off anything that it doesn't need, anything that is not essential for you to live. Most people need a lot more than what they're eating or what they think they need to eat. So maintenance phases tend to often be associated with greater overall weight loss. And people who take these maintenance breaks, they also seem to be able to maintain their weight loss a lot better than people who don't. Maintenance breaks, they have a lot to do with giving yourself more confidence within your ability to lose weight. And yes, it takes longer, but this is kind of guaranteeing you that you will be able to keep the weight and maintain the weight loss, keep it off forever. Where when we do something so drastic over a short period of time, it makes it it's just unrealistic and you can't maintain it. And that's why you see people, they might lose weight, but they've not learned the habits. They've not learned how to manage it for themselves, that they end up putting weight back on. And this is a big factor that we go through things in the Mind Over Muscle program, because I do not want that to be you. I want you to understand your body, understand how it works, understand, what we need to be eating and how to balance it all out according to with your lifestyle, so we don't feel guilty and we don't beat ourselves up and we can keep weight off. So maintenance phases tend to be a good opportunities to really practice relying on your new habits that you may have created or your old habits that you may have established while tracking. I think it's really good to start to track your food because it gives you an idea, so you have an understanding. And I don't think you need to track your food forever, but I think when we're writing it down and we're looking at our food and we can understand, and you can listen to the cues of your body, you can start to understand what you do need to eat in order to, increase your energy levels, feel good about yourself, lose weight, and how sometimes things can blow out. And when you've tracked for a while, you have a confidence about your food. Now, I used to weigh my food out. I used to track my food and all this, but I don't do it anymore because I've done it for so long. I have this understanding, and that's why it's really good to have a point where you do track your food. And the other thing is that there's just all this hidden stuff that we don't realize is creeping up. And it's always a real eye opener when people first start tracking. By going into a maintenance phase, it's also a great way to practice mindful eating and relying on your good habits. When you're in a maintenance phase, it is not about completely getting rid of everything and being like, oh, that's it. I'm not exercising. I'm not dieting. You're still working on creating good habits. You're still working on your end goal, but we need to be more flexible with the calories that you're eating. The other thing that you can be is when you're in a maintenance phase, because you are eating more calories, it can really help with increasing your muscle mass too. I want you to be in a maintenance phase to help increase your confidence in and your ability that you know that you can do it. You don't need to rely on somebody else, that you can, or rely on always being on a diet or something like that in order to be a certain size. That you can be like, oh, I can go out and be social on the weekends and still manage to lose weight or still manage to maintain weight. And so then when you're adding in these maintenance phases, you can also start to understand, well, when of the choices that you make, you can understand that, it's really important to have holidays, weekends away, social events, doing all things where you may not eat how you would be eating if you're looking to lose weight. And it's really important to enjoy those weekends and have those phases. And then if you are looking for weight loss, come back from those times and come back and get straight back onto it. And what I found, the people that are most successful is when we're looking to balance everything with your life, and they're implementing, they're having birthdays or going on holidays, and then they're coming back and then they're getting straight back into it. And what I've also found is that people that add in these maintenance phases, they don't have as much of a weight increase when they go on holidays. So years ago, I had someone say to me, she weighed herself regularly, and she was like, whenever I'm on holidays, I put on at least 3 to 5 kilos. And I was like, oh, wow. So when I go on holidays, my weight doesn't really change that much. I don't restrict my food. I don't do any of those things, but the food that I eat generally is the food I eat on holidays too. So I don't have big extremes. When we have these we want to have these maintenance phases because it will increase your confidence. We don't want your maintenance phase to turn to something where you go, oh, we'll just stuff it all, don't worry about it, and we'll start all over again in January or in a month's time, and then you binge off for a month. We want the maintenance phase to give you confidence that you can trust yourself. You can, enjoy foods, still live your life, and not put on, 5 kilos. Your maintenance phase is more of a calculated approach. So it allows you to eat more, to practice flexibility, to keep creating new habits that it allows you to move away from tracking and, being a bit more restrictive for your future periods. And each kind of phase that you have, you'll start to see that you get more confidence. So a maintenance phase could look like not tracking at all and just relying on your habits and being mindful of your food choices. It could look like to continue to track regularly, but look to be eating a few more calories than normal. It could be to partially tracking to ensure that you get enough calories and protein, and just to kind of keep calories in check. There are so many different things that maintenance can look like, but I would still, when I think about maintenance, you would still be keeping up habits of, your exercise and you're getting your steps up and all of these things, because those things are not just about weight loss. Yes, they help, but, exercise is so much more than just weight loss. It's about, helping your body to move, staying strong, staying more mobile, able, your mental health, meeting with friends, exercise has so many more other benefits than just losing weight. So if I'm in a maintenance phase, it's really about just increasing my calories more, and it is not about dropping off exercise, not doing those things or anything else. They are really, maintenance phases, they're really essential to help you continue to make progress. So when you are taking breaks, it gives your body and your brain, it gives it a much needed break. And as those that may feel like a step backwards or an unnecessary waiting period, and you might be listening to this and thinking, nope, I just want to get it out of the way. I could be strict for this whole time, and I'm just going to, stay in a calorie deficit, and I'm going to lose weight. Well, you might think now that you do it, but in 12 weeks' time, tell me how you feel. And I don't know if you're and it obviously also depends on how much weight you're looking to lose. But having these maintenance phases, it's actually a real investment in making your future fat loss phases are less challenging, and it's going to offset some of those metabolic adaptations that we were talking about. So as much as it's important when you're on your weight loss journey, and again, depending on how much weight you're looking to lose, everything else, to add in these maintenance phases, I also think it's really important to plan an end date. So an end date, and what would maintenance look like for you at the end? Because the biggest thing is we want to get to this point and we don't want to put weight back on. You want to lose your weight, get to a size that you would like to feel good about yourself and confident and everything else. But then we want to look at, we can't always be in a deficit. So we need to look at increasing your calories. So you are eating your calories at maintenance. But we also want to think about how would you envisage your life? How would you be living that? And what would that actually look like? And I think it's really important to plan this stuff out and to think about it, not just guess or, what I see most people is no one thinks about that. They don't plan it out. They don't think about it. They go, I'm just losing weight. But the maintenance phases are essential, is ensuring that you keep the weight off. Now, if you go back to my podcast on the 7 stages of change, the action phase of when you are looking to lose weight generally could last about 6 months. The maintenance phase lasts 2 years. So, we still need to make sure that during that maintenance phase of stages of change, that you are still keeping yourself in check, because we need time to continue for your body to adapt and to make sure that these habits are solid and that you are not going to put the weight back on. I think it's really important to have this understanding of the amount of food that you actually need to eat in order to maintain your weight. And, as we get older, we want to maintain our muscle mass. And that means making sure you're getting adequate protein. And what I see in most people that come to me, especially when they start, they are not eating enough protein. When we look at how much food you need to eat for, to maintain your energy levels, maintain your level of activity of what you're doing, generally a lot more than what people have to think. So maintenance phases are important to include during your fat loss, during the period of where you're looking to lose weight, lose fat, but it's also really important to think about the end goal and what your maintenance looks like at the end. Because ideally, you want to live in maintenance, and most people aren't living in maintenance. They're still living in some form of restriction, because that is what we've been taught. That is what we've been taught over time. And again, this is what we do. We debunk all these myths, and we teach you how to feel confident in making your own choices about your food and your lifestyle, and making sure that you're doing things that align with you. And when you are doing all those things, you are more likely to stick to it forever. So maintenance phases is a real essential part of your weight loss journey. And I really feel it's a missing phase in any plan, because people might make a plan out, or they might think that I'm joining this challenge or this whatever else. But what I see happen in a lot of those programs is they get to the end and then, it's ended. So then, that's it. We'll go back to our old habits. But, let's look at, this is, when I get to where I'd like to be, what does maintenance look like for me? How would that be? What do I actually need to be eating in order to maintain my weight? Because if we keep in that deficit, your body's going to fight back against that. We can't live in that deficit all the time. And lots of people, they don't look at that. They don't see it as important. And it is crucial. It is a crucial element of your weight loss journey. As you've heard me mention, my new program is coming out, which is the Mind Over Muscle program. So here it has 5 modules, and we go through each module You get workbooks, and there's videos and tasks to follow and to fill out on the workbook. So all different things to find out where you've been before, what things have you done. There is no focus on during this phase. It's all about getting your head in the right headspace in order to lose weight. Because what I've found is people they make decisions rightly or wrongly, something's not happening quick enough for them. They hit a roadblock or a hurdle or have a life stress, and then they give up. And then they start again, and then they still continue on this cycle. They definitely don't think about adding in these maintenance phases or anything like that. And I want you to understand all this stuff before you start losing weight. When you can understand all of this stuff, weight loss becomes so much easier. When you hit the hurdles, instead of giving up and thinking it's all too hard and saying, I told you so, I knew I couldn't do it, you get through the hurdle. You get through it, and you become stronger for it, and you learn something for it, and you keep moving forward. And this is what we teach you in the Mind Over Muscle program. So you have 4 modules that you're to go through. And on our 5th module, we help you create an action plan. So the action plan is, once you're working out your goal, how are you going to implement it according to the things that work for you? Because any plan, you might have the most perfect plan in the world. You might have the perfect diet, the perfect exercise regime. But if your headset is not in the right headspace, you're not going to be able to stick to it. You're going to give up because it's going to get too difficult, too hard. You're going to come across a problem, something, and we're not going to be able to work through it. So that's why this is the starting phase before you start any journey of understanding your body, understanding what works for you, understanding the things that you've done before. Maybe they actually, let's stop repeating them because they didn't work. So that is my new program. And by the end of the program, we speak a lot about maintenance, and we give you an action plan, where you create an action plan that you can take and move forward so that you can be on your wellness journey, you can be on your weight loss journey, and you cannot give up. And it gives you a really realistic outlook of what weight loss should look like. And it is not just running a program for 8 weeks or something. It is giving you your long-term trajectory so that we can understand that these weight loss phases are, we have to do it in stages, and that's the way that you're guaranteed to keep weight off and lose it forever. So the program is opening very, very soon. So I will put a link in the show notes if you want to make sure that you are the first to know when the program opens, and that you can join the waiting list. So you will know when it opens. The program we are offering at a discounted price for the first 20 people to join. So it'll be half price for the first 20 people. We will not be doing this again. So make sure that you are on the wait list so you'll be the first to know when it joins. So I'm going to love you and leave you. And if this resonates with you, if you know somebody that this may help, please make sure that you share the podcast, because it's going to help me, and it's going to help more people understand that they need to add in these maintenance phases, which is really, really something I'm passionate about. And if this podcast has helped you in any way, if you could please take a couple of minutes to leave me a review, that would be amazing. And again, it would really help the podcast grow. So on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will speak to you all next week.